Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Danielle Daily Show. I'm your host, Danielle Watson. Thank you for joining me live here. I love having you guys here live. Today we are continuing on the theme that we've had since Friday of letting go. You know, it's actually now become sort of a game for me to see how much I can squeeze out of this topic. You know, the topic of letting go is something we talk about all the time, but we can look at it from so many different angles. And I don't know about you, but sometimes somebody will say something from a perspective that I haven't thought about before, and it will instantly unlock something in my mind that helps me have an understanding that gets me doing something in a new way. And it just frees up my life, it frees up my emotions, it frees up my mental space. So I thought we would just kind of go at this idea of letting go from as many different angles as possible and just see where it leads us. So I will have today's note to self for you a little bit later in the broadcast. Let me know if there are any angles of letting go that you would really like to hear me cover. You know, they're really probably endless, but I'm going to see if I can squeeze a whole week's worth of content out of this. We'll see. We'll see if I can keep this going through Friday. It's now become sort of a little personal challenge, and you guys know how I like challenges. So let's talk about letting go of stuff today. You know, I was being a little bit silly with the subject line of today's broadcast, you know, losing 10 pounds. I had fun coming up with that. And I wasn't talking about 10 pounds of body weight, right? I'm talking about letting go of things, letting go of stuff. And lately, I have found myself really going around my house and noticing, you know, what do I have that I don't really need? What do I have that I don't need? What do I have that I don't use? What do I have that I don't love? And it's been a really interesting experience because there are things that I have that I don't love, but I actually need. So I have to hang on to those. And, you know, that sort of steps on my toes of freedom a little bit, and I'm not really liking that, but I've noticed that there are also lots of things that I don't use or I don't need that I have carried with me, that I have literally carried up 4 flights of stairs when I moved into my condo. And I'm looking at these things and going, why am I still holding on to these things? I don't need them, I don't use them, I don't love them. It's time for them to go. So I've been sorting through things and getting rid of stuff that I don't need, or taking it to a friend to see if they would like to use these things, because I have a lot of stuff that is actually decently good stuff, but I just don't use it. At this stage of my life, I'm just not using it anymore. So it's actually a lot more fun to give stuff away to friends than it is to take stuff to the Goodwill. But I've made trips to the Goodwill. I have given things to friends. I found that I had a whole bunch of paperwork that I no longer needed. And so I had that all shredded. And I have to tell you that getting all that paper shredded, especially getting rid of all those stacks and stacks of documents and statements and letters and things that I no longer needed, felt so satisfying. I mean, like, it just did something in my soul. It felt so satisfying. And that's really what I was referring to in today's subject line, you know, losing 10 pounds. Think about how the stuff in your environment impacts you. Think about how you feel every time you look at, for example, a pile of paper that you really don't need anymore. How does it make you feel? How do you respond when you see that there's this thing that you no longer need, you don't use, you don't love, and you really know that you'd like to get rid of it? How do you respond inside? I don't know about you, but when I see something like that, I instantly hear shoulds in my head. I hear, I should do something about that. I should do something about that. I need to do something about that. And it's funny that sometimes, you know, I'll hear that 100 times before I'll do something about it. And the amount of time it takes me to actually do the thing is far less than the amount of time that I spent telling myself I should do it or feeling bad that I hadn't done it. And so I'm really working to get better at, once I know that something needs my attention, to just go ahead and do it, because It saves me so much energy. It looks like Maida's here. Awesome. Thank you for joining me. So today we're talking about getting rid of extra stuff. And I was being a little cheeky with today's subject line, losing 10 pounds is so easy to do when it's 10 pounds of stuff you don't need, right? I've been clearing out things around my house. I've been getting rid of papers. I've been getting rid of old documents. I've been getting rid of just possessions that I don't need. Some of them have gone to the Goodwill. Some of them have gone to friends. Some of them have gone to the garbage. I recently got rid of 2 giant Rubbermaid bins of CDs from the 90s and the 2000s because I inherited them, and I don't own a CD player, and I no longer even have a computer that has a CD drive on it, and I didn't really value the music enough to take the time to go buy one so I could rip all the music. I just thought to myself, you know what, instead of going through all these CDs, some of which, might have been nostalgic, some of them which might have brought me years more happiness, I just thought to myself, you know what, any song that I ever want to hear is available out there to me digitally. I don't actually need these 2 bins of CDs. And so I was able to give those away. It felt so satisfying. Getting rid of those CDs and getting rid of papers was probably the most satisfying part of that purge. And something I've noticed over the years, because I used to be somebody who just hung on to everything, and somewhere in my 20s that changed, and I decided that I wanted less stuff and less stuff and less stuff. And what I've learned is that when you get rid of a certain layer of stuff, getting rid of the next layer of stuff becomes easier. So it's at first when you're getting rid of things, there are a lot of things that feel like, I don't know if I'm ready to get rid of that or not. And when you feel like that, it's okay to just set those aside. There's a layer of stuff that you'll be very happy and fairly easily convinced that you don't need this anymore, you don't like this anymore, you don't use it anymore, you'll just get rid of it. Even if it's just old documents, start there. Once you get rid of that top layer of stuff that's sort of easy to get rid of, it becomes so much easier to get rid of that next layer of things. So I promise you, if you get rid of that easy layer, the next time you go to get rid of something that was maybe a little bit harder, that will become the easy layer. That will become the layer of things that are easy to get rid of. And it's the deeper we dig down into the stuff we don't need and releasing it, the easier it actually becomes. I know that seems counterintuitive, but that has really been my experience. The more things I've gotten rid of, the easier it becomes for me to release things, because I realize that I've gotten rid of hundreds of things, and I probably couldn't name more than a couple of what those things were. They're just gone. And it's interesting. I've had the experience of giving things away to other people, and then maybe a couple of years later going to their house and seeing that thing and realizing that it was something I gave them that I'd completely forgotten existed until I saw it again. And I have to tell you that never have I gotten rid of something and regretted it. I have never ended up going, oh, if I'd only held on to that thing, my life would be so much better. That thing is irreplaceable. It's not happened. Everything I've gotten rid of, I've completely forgotten about, or I've been able to buy something that was better if I needed something like that again. So I just want to encourage you that if your life is feeling a little bit heavy, we're continuing on this theme of letting go. And so letting go of some stuff, I'm telling you, it feels so satisfying. So I'm curious, where are you at with that? Are you thinking about clutter clearing? I know that this time of year, spring, we all start to sort of think about all the stuff that we've accumulated and kind of clearing that out as we're thinking about spending more time outside and opening the windows and all that stuff. Something about that brings up this need to want to straighten up our environment and to clear all that kind of energy and stuff that's around us. So let me know. I'd love hearing from you guys. Let me know also if there are any other perspectives that you want me to cover letting go from. So like I said, I've been sort of working my way around the circle of different ways of letting go, and I'm going to see if I can continue it on until the end of the week. But if you have things that you would really like me to cover and any kind of perspective you want me to look at as far as letting go, like, last Friday we talked about being like Elsa and just letting things go, letting people misunderstand us and being okay with it. And then on Monday we talked about what, the difference between moving forward and moving on when it comes to love and letting go of grief. And so there's just so many different ways. Today we're talking about letting go of stuff. There's so many ways to explore this concept of letting go. So if you have an idea for one, please leave it in the comments or message me or email me. I would love, love, love to cover it. Okay, let me give you guys today's note to self. Here in Northern Virginia, we're actually having crazy, crazy storms this afternoon. And I don't know how that might affect the broadcast, so just to let you know, in case everything goes darkness, that would be why. It's just there's power outages and all kinds of things going on here. So hopefully we'll be able to squeeze out the note to self and wrap up without any of that happening. I meant to tell you that at the beginning. So luckily, it hasn't happened yet. Okay, I'm going to read you the note to self. Are you ready to write it down? Okay, here we go. It says, "Dear self, getting rid of 10 pounds of stuff can feel just as satisfying as losing 10 pounds of weight." And I can tell you from experience, because I have lost more than 10 pounds of stuff recently, and last year I lost probably more than 10 pounds of weight. I don't weigh myself really on a regular basis, but going through life changes, weight fell off. And I have to tell you, losing weight is super satisfying, and so is losing stuff, like getting rid of stuff that you don't need. It gives you that same internal high. It gives you that same feeling of confidence and moving forward. So if that's something that you need more of, that feeling of confidence, of moving forward, of being in charge of your life, if that's something you need more of, really think about looking around your environment and asking yourself, the age-old questions of clutter clearing. Do I need it? Do I love it? Do I use it? And if you don't, then getting rid of things, and things that feel emotionally difficult to release, just come back to them at another time. Let them sit for a week, but get rid of that first layer of stuff that's easy to get rid of. See if you can get rid of at least 10 pounds of stuff. See how you feel. I can tell you, in my life, getting rid of stuff, it's so satisfying. I love that feeling. Let me read you the note to self one more time. Let's see. No, that was the same comment from before. Okay, so here we go. It says, "Dear self, getting rid of 10 pounds of stuff can feel just as satisfying as losing 10 pounds of weight." Absolutely. I hope you wrote that one down. I hope that this series on letting go you're finding really useful and really practical. Let me know, like I said, if there's an angle of letting go that you want me to kind of dive into this with. And if not, I have my own ideas. I have endless ideas. But I will try to keep this topic contained to this week, and we'll move on to something next week. All right, guys. Well, I love you so very much. I thank you for coming to the show live. I thank you for sharing the show. That is how the show grows, you guys sharing it. And I love and appreciate each and every one of you who watches the broadcast or the recording. The show really, it wouldn't exist without you. So thank you. All right, I will see you again here tomorrow, same time, 3:00 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Until then, mwah, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.